Hey Chase, Marty Sakala from Rock Sports Network and Race Pro Weekly. So I'm kind of curious, going back to last year, did you get to keep the trophy or did you let Denny have it?
He actually gave me the trophy. He kept the flag, though. I think his little girl was pretty married to the flag, so it was all good. I appreciate him sending me the trophy. We didn't win it outright. I would certainly rather have won it the way he won it, but maybe this year.
Going to be tough to point your way in, so I'm curious of the next 6 races on the schedule. What track do you think will be best for you to win at?
I hope here this weekend. My thought process really since all this has happened is that we were going to have to win, and that's kind of what everybody was saying, until we had a few good weeks of points, and then everybody's like, oh, he can point his way in. So the storylines can change pretty fast.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune. Chase, talking a little bit about last year. Do you feel like the defending champion coming back the way as if you won it outright? What's kind of the different feel coming back to a race, to a track where where you've won the previous year?
Yeah, not at all. Not even close. So we were credited with the win, but I don't feel like I don't feel like we had a stellar run. We were okay, we were decent, but certainly not like we came up here and dominated the race like you want to have happen. So yeah, a little bit of a different vibe. I'm not sure I've ever really, certainly not in the NASCAR time. I don't ever remember being gifted a win like that. Any other time, maybe over the years somewhere, but certainly not since I've been doing this stuff.
We'll go to Nathan.
Nathan Song with a podium finish. Chase, the last 5 weeks have been pretty good for you, but obviously not that win. But just where do you feel like you are as a team right now? Do you feel like you're kind of in more of a rhythm than you were, say, maybe just a few weeks ago?
We had a couple good runs that I thought were trending in the right direction. Loudon was terrible. We struggled all weekend really. Which I was, disappointed. And I think as a team we all were, just we had a good test up there, and a couple months ago, and it hasn't been a great track. So I was super excited to get some extra laps and go up there and try to get better, at a place that hadn't been super good. And I thought we did that. I thought we made a lot of gains and went back and were just horrendous, and didn't really understand why. We left in a very similar manner, or came back in a very similar manner as to how we left, and just missed. And that stuff happens, unfortunately. So didn't have the run we wanted to have last weekend, obviously, but I thought the prior 3 or 4 weeks, to my recollection, were certainly better and in the ball game. So that was good, and it's in there. We just gotta extract it.
We'll go to Jeff.
So, admittedly, as you said, a lot of us got caught up in you can point your way in now, and then that's cooled off a little bit. So, but as you said, all along, like you thought you'd have to win. So, what is the mentality, right? Like of, you're going to come to the road course races or something, and you might have to make strategy decisions of like, do we go for the win? Do we go for points? Like, because you're kind of still close enough that you could point your way in with some great stage points or something. So, where's the balance of the team of like what you guys have to shoot for? You know what I mean?
We just got to go and do our jobs to the best of our ability and show up every weekend and make sure we're prepared and thinking about the right things and talking about the right things, making sure I'm honing in on whatever piece of my craft that I feel like I need to focus on that weekend, and that can vary from track to track. The road courses, everybody likes to talk about that. I was this really good road racer 2 or 3 years ago, and now we hadn't won one in a couple years, and that's cooled off too. So it's just, narratives change really fast, and the fun part about being in the position that I'm in and the position that our team's in is we have the ability to change those narratives, and we can make them we can make y'all right about all kinds of different stuff if we just go do our jobs. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I think that, for us, as we look at the tracks coming up, this weekend, I think is an opportunity. Has it been a phenomenal racetrack for me? No, it hasn't, but it is an opportunity to get better, and you want to try to improve, and that's where my head's at. I want to get better. I want to be fighting for wins each week, and kind of get in the mix of those guys that when you walk in here after the race, you're not surprised to see have won an event, and that's the group that I've always wanted to be in, and just let the rest figure itself out. If I'm up here and we're fighting for top fives and fighting for wins on a weekly basis, I'm good. The rest of it's going to work itself out eventually, and that's always been my headspace. So it's no different, no different today, and I think we're very capable of doing that. Like I said, we just got to put the pieces together at the right time and extract our potential, and we'll be fine.
Bob.
Do you feel like you're close to changing the narrative? Because you haven't started top 10 in 4 weeks. You've led, like 38 laps all year.
Mm-hmm.
It would seem, looking at some of the stats, that you're not that close.
Yeah. Well, I think, like I said, last weekend certainly was not very good. The prior 2 or 3 weeks before that, I thought were. Did we lead any laps in those events? I don't know, probably not. But we were running up front and, inside the top 5 and putting together solid races. So from that standpoint, I think that's a pretty good weekend, in my opinion. If you're in those front 2 or 3 rows and the final 2 or 3 restarts, I consider that going in the right direction. So I think that we just have to keep working hard, keep making sure that we're, as I said a minute ago, thinking about the right things, talking about the right things, and I think we're doing that. And I don't see any reason why we can't go and have a good run here this weekend. Just keep chipping away, and that's all we can do. We as I look back to last year, we had a really hot start, or a hot summer stretch, and we were decent at the start, had a good summer stretch, and then we struggled from probably about this time last year all the way through the end of the season, and just trying to get back on track, and and put some of those good runs together. So like I said, I think it's there. Just riding the wave, man. It's like my dad's always said over the years, you got to ride the wave and continue to put the work in, and it'll work itself out.
We'll go to Claire.
Wise advice. Claire V. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. So can you talk about qualifying and the difficulty, I guess, of qualifying here, or the art of qualifying here, and how you look at it?
Well, to Bob's point, I'm not the person to be asking about qualifying. If
You've stepped it up.
If you haven't-
maybe this time you step it up, right?
You haven't noticed. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I used to qualify okay, and just we hadn't qualified very good in a while. So I guess we had a couple of okay starts there a few weeks ago, but yeah, I don't know. From that standpoint, my philosophy on qualifying has always been dialing in where I feel like the car needs to drive from a race pace perspective, and when you put on 4 tires, it should go faster. And that's always been my approach. When you put on better tires, it should go better. Yes, the balance might need to shift a little here or there. You try to find that trend and then hit it each week. But I think that all starts with a really solid setup from a race pace perspective, and you kind of go from there. So that's always been my philosophy. I'm not going to change that. We're just we're going to keep trucking in that direction and try to get better.
Thinking about qualifying here, though, this particular racetrack, and how difficult it is, or how unique it is, and qualifying, stepping on it here.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying in general, I think, has changed a fair amount over the course of my career. When we first came in, we were having Friday practices that were designated strictly for qualifying setups, and we had these really elaborate qualifying setups that we would have to make one fast lap with weight distributed in certain parts of the car, and all the and everyone was doing it. And then the schedules changed some, and then you had less that you could do for a one lap type situation. And then now, even even less than then, with not even being able to tape up and things for qualifying. So I think that has changed the qualifying aspect a little bit more than anything. But again, I think a lot of it comes back to just getting your car driving like you want it to from a long run perspective. And when you put on 4 tires, you should be able to extract more pace from it.
No pressure, but good luck in
that's my
qualifying.
take. Thank you.
Good luck.
We'll go to Zach. We'll come to the front, and then we'll go to Dan.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Chase, you've talked in weeks past about enjoying the challenge because this is a new situation for you, being on the outside looking in. How different is that internally from a year ago when you go on that stretch of 5 straight weeks when you're running top 2? It's new territory. So just how different is that internally for the number 9 team?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly different from last year, but I think it has been in some ways enjoyable to find new challenges and kind of push yourself in different areas. It doesn't really feel a ton different, I guess, than like a playoff run, like in the final 10. You in those situations, like in years past when we haven't had, like last year we had a good year, so we had a lot of playoff points going into the season, and glad we did because that got us to Phoenix. But in years that we didn't, it was about, you had to show up every week and really get it, those last 10 if you wanted to advance. And that's really kind of how it feels now. So, and I have always enjoyed those final 10 weeks just because of that. Like, you show up to the racetrack every week and there's something on the line. There always is. Don't take me wrong, but it is, to me, it's a little more fun knowing that it's kind of make or break. You either get in or you don't, and it's up to us to go and try to achieve that. So it feels very similar to a playoff situation without having many playoff points.
Hendrick Motorsports has specifically been good at Pocono Raceway for years, but obviously this is a new car with you and Alex's team both on the outside looking in right now. Is there any particular emphasis on Pocono this weekend in just trying, knowing there's only 6 opportunities for the 2 of you to get into the playoffs at this point? Is there any emphasis on this week and more so than any other?
No, I mean they all matter. They all pay the same amount of points to win or whatever. So yeah, no, it matters. They all matter.
We'll go up front.
Shane Hector, Underground Sports. Chase, what has your crew chief had talked to you about as far as like the success this year? Because you have 7 top 10s. Is it for only this season alone? And then, as Zach talked about, the playoffs coming up pretty soon. What does your crew chief try to talk to you about to try to motivate you to get that success that you're looking for?
We're all motivated, and we're always motivated. We want to, like, I'm hired to go and do a job. And my job is no different than any one person on our team or at the shop or wherever it may be. Like, we all have an objective and an assignment, and we all want to deliver, no matter what your obligation is. So the motivation's always there for that reason alone. And I want to go do a good job. I want to do my part and make sure I'm holding up my end of the bargain. And so we're not talking about motivating one another. We're talking about how we can be better at the upcoming track, what kind of balance trends we have had in years past, or what kind of trends we have fought or had over the last few weeks. Where have we made improvements? What have we not improved upon? So it's really all performance related in our conversations, honestly. So he knows when I show up to the racetrack, I'm going to give him my all, and I know when I show up to the racetrack, he's going to give me his. And we've had that agreement since day one. And I'll never question that, and he won't either.
Chase, where were you and how did you find out about the win last year? And was there any kind of celebration in the shop that week?
No, there was no celebration. I mean, I didn't want to celebrate it. personally, that's not how I want to win a race, personally. And I don't think anyone at Hendrick Motorsports or on the 9 team in particular wants to win that way. We all want to go win them outright, and make sure that we feel like we earned it, like we want to earn it every week. So, no, there was really no celebration. Heck, I was on the way home, so when I landed, had a couple text messages saying, hey, you won the race, and I was like, won the race, like, no, we ran third, but yeah, so that was how I found out, and yeah, it was just weird, the whole deal was just kind of odd, but it is what it is. Nothing I did just worked out, I guess.
We'll go to Scott.
Also, the Scranton Times Tribune. Chase, talk about running the Xfinity race here this week. There was the decision to do it.
Yeah.
Is it just to get some seat time? Is it just to maybe try to draw some things for the cup race on Sunday? Or
yeah, I mean the opportunity. The Jeff Andrews and Chad and Allen and that whole group at HMS asked me if I was interested in doing it, and I guess the schedule for the car has kind of changed a little bit with HMS entering an Xfinity car. They predominantly been doing road courses, and then they've been tossing around the idea of maybe doing an oval or something here or there. So, I threw my name in the hat. I said, hey, if an opportunity comes up, I'd love to drive and try. And this was one of the tracks that I would love to have some more time at, and just the way the schedule worked out and the timing of them getting a car built and things just landed here, and I was super interested in doing it, and would love to maybe do some more. I'm not sure. I don't think anyone really knows what the schedule for this car is, internally or externally. So we're just kind of going with the flow and making sure that whenever we do decide to go race, we do it the right way, and everybody's prepared, and we have the car built like we want to have it built, and things inside of Hendrick Motorsports. So yeah, just appreciate them letting me drive it, and would love to have a good run this weekend. For that reason alone, HendrickCars.com has been a part of my career for a long time. Obviously with my relationship there, and obviously the number and the car are very special to Mr. Hendrick and Linda. So would love to put a good run together for them, and then also for me just trying to help myself for Sunday.
We'll go to Roy, Dalton, Chris, and then finish with Marty.
Thank you. Chase, Roy Akers, MidwestSportsScene.com. Several questions ago, you were asked about maybe some race strategies or something. A lot of guys that are on the cut line or whatever, doing things, going into the pits at a little different time to hopefully catch lightning in a bottle. Is that something that you're already considering and doing, or would that be more down the stretch?
I think it's more down the stretch. I mean, you get a lot of those decisions are made based on how you're running. Really, if you're out front and you have the race under control, I think your call would be different than it would be if you were struggling. You look at like last week, just as an example, we were running as bad as we were running. Allen's going to call a race differently versus how the 19 was running, right? Those guys had a nice lead, and you can just call a race a little differently in that position, versus needing to try to make something happen or taking a chance, even though it's going to net out slower, to maybe try to catch a caution or something. So I think all those decisions are really made kind of on the spot and really based on how you're running at the time. Yep.
Dalton.
Hey, Chase, Dalton Hopkins with FrontStretch.com. So I know you said that every track is important for the next 6 weeks, but is there one that you feel like sticks out where you have the best opportunity to get a win and lock yourself into the playoffs?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure everybody wants me to say a road course or something here or there, but no, I don't feel that way. And again, like I said, I want to have that opportunity every week. Like that's where I want to be. So that's the position you need to. That is the position you need to be in to go and like have a legitimate shot of winning the actual whole deal. Like, you have one magic racetrack that gets you in the playoffs. That's not going to get you to Phoenix. You're not going to ride that. Ride that one miracle all the way through. So, yeah, we want to be good every week, and we're capable of being good every week. You know, it's not just that we want to; we're capable of doing it. We need to go and make it happen, and yeah, that's where I want to get to, and you know, we're going to keep working really hard to get there, and hopefully we can get in the show. And if we don't, we're going to continue to work really hard throughout the rest of the year, whether we get in or not, to try to win and improve and make ourselves better.
And one more for you. The only time you've ever been here in an Xfinity car was 2018, and you finished second in that race. I know it was a while ago,
Yeah.
but do you remember anything at all from that race that you can still apply based on how you reacted? I guess not, but you can still apply for tomorrow?
No, I remember it now that you say that, but I totally forgot about that. I didn't even know that I'd kind of forgot that I had run one up here. But, yeah, because when I was running Xfinity full-time, and we didn't race here at that point of the way the schedule was worked out. So, yeah, no, been a while. So I remember the race, but I certainly don't remember, you know, much about our car or all the little stuff. So we'll see today.
Just kind of following up on the Xfinity stuff, is that there was a time where we started seeing Cup drivers not race as much as the other series because they didn't feel like they paid a benefit on Sundays. But now that shift is changing a little bit, we're seeing a lot of the Ford drivers do as many oval races and road course races, and obviously you guys are doing an Xfinity plan. Is it about more tomorrow about win or bust, or is it just exploring the opportunities to see if there is now a difference since the cars are changing again, that there is a little bit more of compatibility?
Well, I haven't driven one in a while, so I don't know that it is compatible or not. You know, from the outside looking in, I feel like there's really more differences than there are similarities when you really dive into the fine details of it all. But I think there are a lot of positives from having an Xfinity car in-house for a number of reasons. Sure, from a driver standpoint, if you can pick up something that weekend, but also from a crew member standpoint. Finding and making sure that, you know, road crew guys are experienced and also used to the culture of whatever race shop that they're working in. You know, Hendrick Motorsports for us, I think can be a really useful tool for all of us to get our feet wet in a series that's not Cup, and potentially better prepare new hires or guys that are going over the wall, or whatever it may be, of being on the road and working in that environment, building a car at the level that we want to build them at HMS on the Cup side. So I think there's more benefits to it than just from a driver's perspective. I think company-wide it can benefit all of us. Yeah, I think the whole piece. Yeah, just getting different faces, sometimes fresh faces, all in the same room together and all at the same racetrack in the same garage area with the same goal in mind. I think is very useful, I guess, is what I was trying to say. Yep.
We'll take one final question from Artie.
So I know you said after the Chicago street race that SVG's win made the Cup drivers look bad. Now looking at further ahead to Indianapolis Road Course, you have to race him and Brody Kostecki. Your thoughts on that?
I didn't know he was coming back, so that's awesome. I'm not sure. I hope all those guys come and run more races, because I think it'll make us better, at the end of the day. So that's super cool, and I'm glad to hear that he got another opportunity. I mean, the guy went and won the race. He deserves to race however much he wants, but I think that's great, and I'm looking forward to having him. Looking forward to racing with him again. As I alluded to up in Chicago, I thought his drive was not only impressive but very classy. You didn't see him running over people. He didn't run over people to go win the race. I thought he did it the right way, and that is very admirable. And I think people like that deserve great opportunities. So looking forward to having him back and racing against both those guys.
Thanks, Chase.
Yep.
Good luck this
Thank you.
weekend.